EFF branch chairperson Xolani Jack has been brutally murdered at his home in Khayelitsha in Cape Town. This as bloodshed continues unabated in the Cape Flats amid a heavy police presence and the deployment of the army. 3 alleged gang members were also injured in a shootout with police in Grassy Park. Today, Police Minister Bheki Cele visited Phillipi East and also addressed journalists at the conclusion of a crime summit in Paarl. Let's get more from Cape Town with our reporter Vanessa Poonah. Very good evening to you, Vanessa. Give us an update of what's happening on the Cape Flats.
Yes, good evening to you. And I think the sense that people in communities across the Cape Flats at the moment is now one of anticipation. We've heard of the killing and shooting of the EFF branch member. We know about the alleged shootout between the gangsters and police. But also just yesterday in a place called Phillipi in Delft, also cases of arson opened. The community there telling us that it seems to be a pushback from a group of people with alleged crime links that are now coming back into the area as a retaliation. So on the Cape Flats at the moment, crime is continuing unabated, but also there are efforts that have been deployed. For example, after Minister Bheki Cele's announcement last Thursday, of course on Friday morning we saw a huge contingent of police deployed in Phillipi East, for example. We know by now that those 11 murders in the space of 24 hours seem to have been a catalyst for the huge deployment, and then also the subsequent announcement of members of the South African National Defence Force that will be deployed in various communities. Today saw the end or the wrapping up of a crime summit that took place in Paarl in the Boerland, and we know that several ministers as well as various role players were invited, community members, community organisations to participate to find ways and lasting ways to curb crime levels, because we understand, the minister said so, even communities have said that the deployment of the South African National Defence Force is by no means a long-term solution to the escalating crime issues in the province and country, just a stopgap measure. Deployment initially now for 3 months once they hit the ground with their assistance to the South African police services. So this crime summit having come to an end with a pledge signed with all the various ministers, departments, as well as community organisations which were represented. And they say that a report will be filed duly, and also an implementation framework will be drawn up in the coming weeks and months. Now, we understand from the various community organisations, as well the minister said so too, that one of the concerns that they did not have enough time to get enough community involvement, and they're therefore calling for another get-together in the next 2 weeks where more communities are represented, more representatives of various communities coming together for their inputs to help police as well as all other role players curb crime in this province.
Vanessa Poonah giving us an update from Cape Town.